When all the kids are on the bus and heading home, I often think about teachers going back to their rooms, putting their heads down on their desks, and thinking, can I take this another day? I barely get time to be with these kids because of testing and all the things that are happening. But the only people that can fix the schools are the people who are in them every single day, with the children and with each other. We thought, let's bring the principal and a small team of teacher leaders together to think about their adult community and ways of strengthening it.
Energy is all around us. Close your eyes. Roll the ball. Let it grow a little bit bigger as you inhale. Separate your arms.
We teach who we are. Being able to have time to reflect on who we are, what our gifts are, what our limitations are, is in service of the children. Building relationships among the adults in a school community is important to students' learning because it allows everybody to communicate and do their best work.
We're going to give you the opportunity to revisit where you've come with this work of leading together.
We've invited teams to reflect on what have been the successes and challenges. They're able to then visually represent it and share it with other teams and other schools.
Expectations so that our kids know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, exactly what they're supposed to accomplish. We shouldn't treat ourselves any differently.
We've got sort of a culture of doing that a certain way already, and changing that could take some time and some reflection and some effort.
How do we balance it between people who need a lot of time and people who don't come down at all?
If I was the teacher, I would be one that would not come down. Because, you know, like the overpowering thing, I would just step back.
Stopping and taking a breath. It's going to be as useful as beating some training into them.
There have been powerful conversations going on between principals and teachers.
And they find that it gives them more energy and more capacity to do the hard work that they're doing back in schools.
The Regional Multicultural Magnet School is an example of a school with forward thinking about leadership. And I think one of the hallmarks of what makes it great is that they're not satisfied. Yesterday, I didn't see a teacher hold a door for a child. I saw children holding the doors for each other. And I just thought that was such a wonderful testimony to what you've built in the student community that can carry over to what you're trying to build in the adult community.
We have a strong community here, and it shows every time there's a celebration or there's a sad thing that happens, you know, this community comes together like crazy, and these are the activities, I think, that really help us build that community.
Leading together has to do with examining the inner life of the teacher. And it's something that in this current educational climate has fallen by the wayside. With all of the demands of the state, because the state is on our case saying, do this, do this, do this, do this, and do it faster.
Just as we believe in growth and independence for children, we think that that's what teachers have to do as well, is to be really good independent thinkers
Español.
who work well together.
Bien. Sí, ¿qué más? Dilo, dilo todos.
Cooperación.
Cooperación.
When we're a community, the kids see that. I start my classes with a period of mindfulness. It's a kinesthetic way to get the students out of their mind and focused on the present moment.
There was a man that did
We can provide activities and exercises that would help them to listen deeply to each other, learn how to ask good questions of each other, get them thinking about their work.
Believe that it's possible to emerge refreshed, surprised, and less burdened than when we came in.
The schools have to figure out how to adapt it and frame it to work in their school.
It's not always the case that students have the opportunity to see a caring community model.
When I came here, there was really no trust. My days sometimes are so hectic that, like we don't have time to pause and think and reflect. So by committing to being part of Leading Together, I think that it keeps us on track.
Woodland's culture has been changing as the leadership has been able to bring in more teachers who share the mission of the school. And they are passionate about what they're doing, and they're working very, very hard.
We're trying to teach our students about community and collaborating, and so it just seems like a natural progression, and that we would model behavior for our students as well.
Kids are perceptive. I mean, they know what's happening in the adult community. We used to work in silos in this school. I was fearful of walking into other people's classrooms because, I wasn't a welcome professional.
I want you to have the conversation amongst yourself. Look at this photograph. Who wants to start the conversation?
I think those are fingers. Tell me more about that.
Fingers. You're questioning. I like questioning is good. It's healthy. It makes us think.
We have come a long way as a staff that we can actually come to work, do what we need to do for our students, but also feel comfortable in our space with our colleagues.
What's one thing that you do or could do that would continue to build trust in the Woodland Academy school community?
It's a really good practice, I think especially for the children, to learn to just sit and listen and accept.
It's not just me with my kids. It's a lot of other people working together. We have to communicate effectively in order for the kids to get the most out of that.
For the past several years, they've been focused on academic achievement, and their involvement in Leading Together is another step in recognizing that building the adult community is in service of this goal.
Fur is the material that this artwork is made from. That's a long sentence.
We create a community in the classroom for kids by making sure that they sit in a circle so that everybody feels equal. Everybody can see each other. Are your eyes on the speaker? Yes. The very first time we tried the circle, even people who we would describe as more reticent felt comfortable sharing with the whole group.
I'd heard about the singing and the kumbaya and it didn't match my British skepticism at all. But I have to say, having that experience of singing in a group and seeing that there wasn't really a leader, everybody was doing the same thing, we were all in this together, and the product was so beautiful, it made me a convert.
We have to listen to our own voice, but we also have to listen quietly to the voice of others in order to appreciate the richness in the school community.
We have an avenue to show that we are human. I'm not just the assistant principal. I can act silly, I can dance. I don't care if I sound like a terrible singer. I will do it.
One day, Margaret and I were trying to wrangle in some kindergarten friends. And all of a sudden, these little 5-year-old voices start singing, "Oh Mama Bakudala," and Margaret and I stopped dead in our tracks. I'm like, "What are they singing?" She's like, "I don't know, what are they singing?" And it was just astounding goosebumps because their teacher had brought that practice into the classroom as a transition song.
Challenge, I think.
We saw kind of an interpersonal mindfulness going on as one team listened to another team.
We don't expect students to learn in a upward slope and that there's ups and downs and turns and backwards, and that we have to give that to ourselves.
It sort of gave us a sense of hope that it could be a new way of talking, the way we heard the teams talking to each other.
It's less likely that we're going to find time.
But it's really about transformation. Their capacity to build their own self-awareness, their own capacity to listen and to be reflective in their teaching practice.
Okay. Okay, hi Fabiola. Ready? Fabiola?
There needs to be more kindness and collaboration between the people who think they know what the schools should be doing and the people who are in the schools needing the support, so that we really all need to be leading together. And if we can do that, then the school's going to be a more joyful place.